behind him a very good evening and a warm welcome to all. We are gathered here today in reverence of Mr. Yenepoya Moideen Kuni, recognized by many as YMK and fondly known to us as all as our Uppa. It is with pride and love of my ancestry that I stand here before you on this very special occasion of unveiling the biography of YMK. It is his valiant decision, selfless sacrifice, and philanthropic nature that changed and touched many lives, which continues even today, 4 decades down the line. Desmond Tutu rightly said, "You don't choose your family. They are God's gift to you as you are to them." And our Uppa was God's gift to many, generously making them a part of his life and surrounding them with opportunities that were limited during his day and time. This makes our Uppa's story worthwhile. It was exactly 39 years ago on this day that our Uppa left for his heavenly abode. But even to this day, he is still remembered by all with a sense of pride, privilege, and possessiveness.
His children, 6 daughters and 2 sons, whom we are blessed to have amongst us today, continue to carry forward his unmatched legacy with love and respect. Today, they pay rich tribute to him by releasing his biography, and we are extremely delighted to have you all with us to witness this momentous occasion. A special mention and appreciation to his 2 sons, Yenepoya Muhammad Kuni, Beli Kaka, and Yenepoya Abdullah Kuni, Cherya Kaka, for being there for us always, for your patient guidance and unflinching support in all our endeavors, for being a role model and an inspiration to each one of us, and above all, for being the strength, the foundation, and the pillars of our family. Before we commence the program, we strongly believe that every auspicious occasion must begin with the blessings of the Almighty. So before we move forward, let me ask my brothers, Muhammad bin Nasir and Abdullah Amin, to come up stage and recite a few verses from the Holy Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Ra'd, which means thunder, ayah number 19 to 24, and this surah was revealed in Medina. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أفمن يعلم أنما أنزل إليك من ربك الحق كمن هو أعمى إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب الذين يوفون بعهد الله ولا ينقضون الميثاق والذين يصلون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويخشون ربهم ويخافون سوء الحساب والذين صبروا ابتغاء وجه ربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية ويدرؤون بالحسنة السيئة أولئك لهم عقبى الدار جنات عدن يدخلونها ومن صلح من آبائهم وأزواجهم وذرياتهم والملائكة يدخلون عليهم من كل باب سلام عليكم بما صبرتم فنعم عقبى الدار جزاك الله خير.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Don't they know that the book was sent down to you from your Lord is the truth, and yet fails to deny it? It is only the people of understanding that take notice. Those who fulfill the Almighty's agreement and do not break the bond. Those who join that which the Almighty has commanded to be joined, which is, be good to their relatives and do not break the bond of brotherhood. Fear their Lord, abstain from all kinds of sins and evil deeds which the Almighty has forbidden, and perform all good deeds which He has ordained. And those who remain patient, seeking the Almighty's pleasure, perform salah, and donate from what the Almighty has provided for them secretly and publicly, and respond evil with good. It is they who will have a good end. The paradise which they will enter along with the righteous among their parents, spouses, and children. And the angels will enter them from every gate of paradise, saying, Salamu alaikum, peace be upon you for what you have persevered in patience. How excellent is the ultimate home. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Mohammed and Abdullah, for the beautiful invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now commence the program. I am Hiba, and together with Saad, we'll look forward to the pleasure of your company on a wonderful walk down memory lane.
I now call upon Mrs. Mariam Shabana Faisal, granddaughter of YMK and daughter of Mrs. Yenepoya B. Fatima, to welcome you all to this august gathering. Mrs. Shabana Faisal, chairperson of KEF Holdings Group, wife of Mr. Faisal Kotikolan, is a well-seasoned entrepreneur and philanthropist of repute in the Middle East. She is a truly multifaceted personality, heading various different businesses globally.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Saad and Hiba, for that wonderful introduction. It's an honor and privilege for me to welcome each and every one of you today for the book release of my grandfather Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi. My memories of Uppa as a child was when I used to visit him with my mother. As a child, I would stand next to my mother holding her sari, watching my mother talk to her and spend time with her father. He would ask her about her life, inquire about her husband and children, and my mother would also ask him for advice in certain matters. My grandfather was a simple man, a family man, humble and humorous. He had immense leadership qualities. He was also a visionary businessman with strong ethics and values. He was always thinking ahead of his times. An uneducated man, yet a wise man. I'm certain that he has touched a lot of you in this room in one way or another. Today, 39 years ago, he passed on. And as we cherish his memories, we remember him for the impact that he has brought to the world and all of us. He has left behind a strong legacy. I hope the release of this book will be a reminder to us of his values and ethics, something which generations of his family members and friends can inculcate and follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Shabdada, for your words that are as sweet as you. Coming now to our loving Chericha, a son who has relentlessly walked in the footsteps of our beloved Uppa. The man who is constantly inspired by his visionary father, whom he considers a role model for himself and the younger generation. So much so that he wanted his father, YMK's story, to be compiled into a biography for all to cherish. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have Dr. Yenepoya Abdullah Kuni to say a few words about Uppa.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all of you. My dear friends and family, today is definitely one of the most memorable days of my life. We are gathered here for the release of the biography of my beloved Uppa, my role model YMK. Uppa was truly a genius of his time, and more than that, an exceptional and genuine human being. I am not praising him simply because he is my father, but more than my words, and many who have witnessed his greatness, the brand Yenepoya stands testimony to his legacy. He was a foresighted visionary who, even those days, despite having been deprived of the opportunity of a formal education himself, envisioned to make professional education and quality health care accessible to all, especially for the unprivileged and the needy. This was a story of struggle and sweat, of hurdles and hardship, a life of hard work and toil, which even today make our eyes well up with tears. He started from, and yet against all odds, came out a successful story filled by his dreams and vision. Having begun in a small and humble way with the timber business, today his name is a brand that is diverse and global. This story of his dedication and perseverance, which has given us all that we have today and made us all that we are, is worth documenting for future generation to read and draw inspiration from. When the idea of compiling this biography was first put across my elder brother, Yenepoya Muhammad Kunyi, he immediately expressed his keenness to go ahead. Subsequently, all my sisters and family members too voiced their agreement together. This book took nearly 7 years to be completed. It has first-hand accounts painstakingly compiled by Iqbal Walapil, who along with A.B. Kutian traveled far and wide to meet Upa's acquaintance and gather information. All these have been beautifully scripted in Malayalam by A.B. Kutian. Our family will always remain indebted to them for their untiring effort. We also can't forget Mr. Radhakrishnan, who in spite of his poor health, dedicated quality time to translate the Malayalam version to Kannada. We are also in deep gratitude to late Mr. Surendra Rao, who began the English translation but sadly passed away midway. This was later completed by Mr. Lakshminarayan, but we remain indebted to them too. Our gratitude to Professor B.A. Vivek Rai, who has been a mentor and guided us throughout this venture. Also for his brilliant editing of English version and for his expertise. We are also wish to acknowledge the help provided by Ashraf Tumbe with his vast and very rare collection of old photos, family photos, and also for coordinating visits to his Ajman office as well as his hometown. I must make a truly special mention of gratitude to all the grandchildren of the Yenepoya family who have worked with enthusiasm to this project. And of course, I can never forget my elder brother who has stood by my side right from the beginning like a pillar for support. A big thank you also to Mr. Praveen Anand of YMK & Company, Naufal Perla, Praveen Nayak, whose combined effort in compiling, typesetting and publishing the book in a noteworthy. Last but not least, our gratefulness to all who have directly or indirectly been instrumental in making this priceless memory of Upa. Truly, this book is not just a keepsake, but an inspiration, and we are happy to share it with all of you today. Thank you one and all for making this day even more memorable with your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Alapa, for your ever-inspiring words and for gifting us the opportunity to have this lovely book, which we all will treasure for life. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present a short docu-film to refresh and relive the memories of our Upa. Let us all sit back and take a walk down memory lane and enjoy a flashback.
Behind the growth and diversification of the Yenepoya group lies the saga of a rare and remarkable individual, the late Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi, who built a business house from virtually nothing. Absence of formal education did not hamper the driving ambition and determination of this soul. His enthusiasm was limitless in whatever he was interested in. This, coupled with his entrepreneurial skills, courage, and determination, enabled him to develop his businesses, overcoming various constraints that came his way. The Yenepoya group bears testimony to his dedication and dynamism.
My beloved father, Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi, was a very simple man. Honesty, integrity, determination, commitment, perseverance made him very unique. He was a person who gave a lot of importance for cleanliness and quality. From his bedroom to his workplace, whether it is a factory or office premise, he used to keep it spick and clean. Regarding quality also, he gave a lot of importance. Whatever the product in his industry was of high quality, that made a very good name in the market. He knew the difficulties of the poor and the downtrodden. He always helped the people without looking at the religion, caste, creed. He treated everybody alike. This quality made him a unique personality. According to Islam, we are not supposed to take interest or give interest. During his entire career, he never approached any bank for any financial assistance. He was able to build up such a big empire without bank facility. Whatever he has preached, he has practiced. That was his greatness. Another thing, what we saw in his span of 50 years of his business, he never gone to court. He did not have any dispute in the business. These connections with these clients are always very, very long connections, 25, 30, 35 years connection.
Yenepoya is a tiny little village on the banks of the Chandragiri River, flanked by steep hills and valleys. In this idyllic setting, Moideen Kunyi was born on the 15th of September 1907 the youngest of 6 children of Muhammad and Amina. Moideen Kunyi lost his beloved father at the tender age of 8. The family thereafter depended on Moideen Kunyi, who started working as a labourer instead of going to school.
He was deprived of education because there was no school near to our house. The nearest school available was at Kasagod, about 20 kilometers from Mulyar.
He became an assistant to a timber merchant. He transported bamboo across the river Chandragiri in a country boat. This was no mean physical achievement for a young lad. Thereafter, Moideen Kunyi started diving into the tumultuous waters of the river to collect huge logs that would float down the river in the rainy season. He would tow the logs to the shore, dry and cut the wood, and then sell it in Kasagod. The only initial capital was his courage and hard work. Moideen Kunyi built a tiled house in his village. This was one of the first tiled houses to appear in this little hamlet. The days of living in a thatched hut were over. At this juncture, a new and important member joined his household. This was none other than Zuleika, his better half. She was the daughter of Vallapil Moideen Kunyi and Umali of the neighbouring village of Bavikara. Thereafter, the beautiful Zuleika shared the trials and tribulations, victories and triumphs of his life, and remained his faithful shadow until the very end. A few years later, when Moideen Kunyi faced a crisis in his business life due to non-realization of receivables from dealers, he decided that the time had come to move to a more favorable location. He chose Mangalore and in the early 1940s shifted his business to this place. At first, his family remained in the native village and Moideen Kunyi had a hard time commuting every day between Kasagod and Mangalore. From Kasagod to Yenepoya, there was no available transport service and he had to walk long hours every day. Moideen Kunyi, however, remained undaunted by these setbacks and hardships. He was a man with a mission. Nothing could hold him back now.
I knew him for about 40-50 years. And when he started this timber business and all this, he used to take good care to see the quality is good and supplies he made in time so that nobody is inconvenienced. He has been absolutely straightforward in all his dealings. That is my knowledge and experience. And very kind to the people also. He never ill-treated his workers. No discrimination. Swami Shraddhanand Sevashram, orphanage in Collector's Gate. They were constructing a building and I had some interest in it. So her father came to me to the Pendleton House and I said, I'm going to that place. Can we meet in the afternoon and you come back for lunch? He said, no, I will also come there. He went there and mind you, he supplied the entire timber free of charge. They are orphan children.
Moideen Kunyi soon started an office at Nellikai Road in Mangalore to facilitate the expansion of his timber business. Later, this office was shifted to Ansari Road with added facilities. In no time, Moideen Kunyi had become the leading timber merchant in Mangalore.
Earlier in 1950-55, he used to send the timber to Kerala, timber logs to Kerala and Madras. Thereafterwards, in In 1960, he started buying government forest coups in Coorg, Dakshina Kannada, and started transporting the timber to Mangalore, to Jappu Seminary, our own sawmill, and besides another 2 more sawmills. So his volume of business increased during 65, and then he started. He was at that time he was supplying sleepers to Indian Railways. In 1970, he built 2 mechanized vessels. One is Barkatullah, having a capacity of about 600 tons, and another Zuleka, having a carrying capacity of about 300 tons. Both were mainly transporting timber from Mangalore to Bombay.
Soon he began to stay in Mangalore and go home only once or twice a month. When Moideen Kunyi was at home, it was a festive mood in the village. Many people would come to visit him, and he invariably assisted those who were in distress.
It is said that men die, but not their memories. When we think about our past, my relationship with my beloved Marhum Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi Sahab, it started since 1956 when I married his first daughter. Then it extended until 1983 when he breathed his last. I learned many things as far as business is concerned. A dynamic, a visionary, energetic, and also he was gifted with the golden hand, because whatever he touched, it turned out to be gold mine. He never failed in his any decision. His life was for one generation, but his deeds are forever.
In the course of time, Moideen Kunyi purchased a house at Balmata in the heart of Mangalore, renovated the building, added more amenities, and shifted his family, now consisting of his wife and 5 children. 3 more children were born to them in Mangalore. They now had 6 daughters and 2 sons. Moideen Kunyi ensured that his children got the best of education.
I appeal to the youngsters, mainly family members, to go into the deep knowledge of whatever you can get about your grandfather, father, father-in-law, and to see how best these great values which he has built during his lifetime and the legacy which he has left behind could be further carried out, so that you, the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, can also enjoy the benefit of yourself, what your great-grandfather has left behind as a legacy.
At one time, the entire timber trade from Mangalore to Mumbai was controlled by YMK. He had met J.H. Wadia in Mangalore, and their initial meeting had blossomed into a lifelong friendship.
After discussing, he gave me a quotation. The quotation was 1/3 of what I would have bought from Calicut. So low. But in order not to show him my eagerness and to jump, I simply haggled. Immediately he said, Oru naya paisa korchilla. Oru naya paisa korchilla. I understood he says that not 1 naya paisa less. This was his, I came to learn later on his principle. Whatever he has quoted will be so fair that the buyer also will earn something.
Another important venture of YMK was the purchase of the 4,000-acre Banjar estate in the 1950s. This proved to be a major turning point in his life. The estate consisted of cardamom, coffee, and mainly hardwood, which were used in the manufacture of plywood. Later, he planted rubber in some areas. YMK was a benevolent man who gave nearly 340 acres to the tribal workers of the estate.
He started his first industry in the year 1959. That was a sawmill in Ashokanagar. That entire machinery was imported from Belgium, and that was one of the most modern industry at that time. The period between 1965 and 75, I can call it as a golden era. In 1972, he started Canara Wood and Plywood Industry. Then later, in 1978, he started Indian Wood and Wood Products. Then he started Karnataka Board Product and Canara Boards at Tumbe. During that period, he started the work of a 5-star hotel, which is called as Taj Manjaran today. But unfortunately, he was not there at the time of inauguration. He had given a lot of importance for education and healthcare. He started Unity Health Complex. That was the first healthcare unit started by him. See, he was very much interested in the healthcare of the poor people. So he also gave a lot of importance for education. I remember once he told me, I am ready to part with my 50% of my wealth if somebody gives me formal education in exchange. This shows how much value, how much importance he has given for education. See, after his death, we thought we must do something in education. So in 1991, we started our Yenepoya Dental College. After that, we have started a hospital in Mangalore, in the heart of city. After that, we have started our nursing college, physiotherapy college, and in 1998, we have started our medical college. All these activities is the inspiration from my beloved father.
The office at Ashok Nagar is where YMK spent most of his daytime hours. He was enamored of the beauty of nature, and this location gave him immense peace and contentment. Though he appeared to have a tough countenance, YMK had a heart of gold and a great sense of humor. His friends recount various instances where he used to regale them with amusing anecdotes and jokes.
തമാശയും പറയാമായിരിക്കും മൂടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒരിക്കൽ അല്ലെ ബാംഗ്ലൂർ ഒരു ടാക്സിയിൽ പോയി ടാക്സി ആക്കിയിട്ടാണ് ബാംഗ്ലൂർ പോയത് സ്വാമില്ല നോക്കാൻ എന്നിട്ട് വന്നിട്ട് ഇവിടെ വന്നയാൾ പറഞ്ഞ് അല്ല ഞാൻ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഡ്രൈവറെ സ്പീഡ് കണ്ട് ഓനോട് ചോദിച്ചു നിനക്കെന്ത് പണിയുണ്ട് ആടെയെന്ന് ഓ ഇല്ല പറഞ്ഞ് അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു എനിക്കും അത്ര അർജൻറ്റൊന്നും പണിയില്ല അങ്ങനെ നല്ല തമാശയും പറയുമായിരുന്നു.
Today, the Yenepoya group has interests in a variety of businesses. Behind this saga of success is Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi, a man who never stepped into a classroom, but learned the lessons of life at the threshold of practice and action. He felt that all his actions were being guided by Allah, and he never wavered in his faith. Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi never let failures stop him, and one of his most acknowledged traits was hard work, for he continued to strive incessantly towards the attainment of his goals. He carefully selected his friends and business associates.
ഞങ്ങളുടെ ബാപ്പാവും മർഹൂം ഏനപ്പയ മൊയ്തീൻ കുഞ്ഞി സാഹിബും ഒന്നിച്ചിട്ട് കച്ചവടം ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കാരായിരുന്നു. 1954 നമ്മൾ എൻ്റെ ബാപ്പ ലോറി ആക്സിഡൻറ്റിൽ മരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഞങ്ങളെല്ലാം നന്ന ചെറുപ്പക്കാരായിരുന്നു. എങ്കിലും ഞങ്ങൾ കൈവിടാണ്ട് അദ്ദേഹം 10-12 കൊല്ലം ഒന്നിച്ചിട്ട് തന്നെ കച്ചവടം ചെയ്ത് ഞങ്ങളൊരു നിലക്ക് ആക്കിയതിന് ശേഷമാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ വേർപിരിഞ്ഞത്.
He never accepted any concessions or charity from anybody, but he went out of his way to help others. His employees have worked with him for 30 to 40 years without any grievance. They never wished to leave the services of such a noble individual. Though he spoke only Malayalam, he was in touch with his customers and business associates all over the country. The only thing he could write was his own signature, and he had the newspapers read out to him every morning. He was particularly skilled in mathematics and accountancy. Words cannot describe the intrinsic greatness of YMK, whose life was a role model for society. He was unique and a veritable legend in his time. The footprints of the late Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi will never fade from the earth, but will continue to inspire generations to come. J.H. Wadia, his longtime associate, sobbed as he remembered YMK. I bow my head in memory of my dear departed friend.
Would not be too much for us to recall the memory of the symbol Janab Haji Sahib Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi.
Let us all remember this legendary figure with respect and admiration.
We now come to the most awaited moment of the day, the release of the biography of YMK, which has been printed in 3 different languages, namely English, Kannada, and Malayalam. To do the honors, I first call upon Dr. C.P. Habib Rahman, son-in-law of YMK, married to Mrs. Yenepoya Amina, to release the English version. Dr. Rahman takes credit for Yenepoya Group's initial diversification from the timber business into the healthcare scenario. He is also a recent recipient of the prestigious Rajyotsava Award. Dr. Rahman, chairman of Unity Care and Health Services, more popularly known as Unity Hospital, will hand over the first book to Mr. Ashish Wadia, son of the one and only Mr. Jimmy Wadia, a charismatic personality and a renowned timber trader from Mumbai, who was instrumental in establishing YMK's timber business connection with Mumbai. Together, they have grown, not only as business associates, but more as family. Could Mr. Ashish Wadia please come up the dais? Would you like to say a few words, Habib uncle?
Assalamu alaikum. Peace to you all. It is customary to talk a few after the release of a souvenir or anything on the stage. For want of time and the limitation of all the available to other people also, I have to be very brief. Please excuse me if I transfer a little more than what you expect. I am privileged to release this English version of the book Yenepoya Moideen Kunni. I congratulate Dr. Abdullah Kunni and the team for the efforts. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. In the book, you will see opinions of family members and others with various photographs. This will give a lot of information you already seen in the movie, what you could see, the clippings. And for me to see all those people, because many of them are not living, not only father-in-law, but many others who have seen the Wadia, Hamdaji, and other people are no more with us. It's a real emotional feeling I feel to communicate at this moment. What I share is something intangible. This may be a reflection for your enlightenment, what you already know. All of you know about him. You have seen the documentary, you know, and people will be speaking about that. The life he lived, the love he shared, and the legacy he left behind cannot be ignored. I would like to share 5 characteristics or principles of late Moideen Kunni. Marriage is a union of 2 individuals. Some say marriage is made in heaven. Others say marriage is not made in heaven but on earth and see the hell. Some others say marriages are made on earth and they see the heaven. The marriage of Bhai Moideen Kunni with Suleika comes in the 3rd category. So also we all the 2nd generations, 2 sons and their wives, and 6 daughters and their husbands. Family, the first institution. It is through family we come to this planet Earth, and it is through family we find our final exit. And most of our time we live with our family. The legacy of the family is the foundation for the future generation. I would like to describe the legacy of Yenepoya Moideen Kunni in just 5 principles, which I find very important. First principle is supreme courage and confidence. Faith and doubt are like day and night. They can't exist together. Bhai Moideen Kunni had implicit faith in God and religion. He had a great faith in courage himself. He never doubted anything of his work or undertaking. His daily routine was very massive and repetitive. He used to walk, as you have seen in the documentary, 3 miles in a thick forest in Kasaragod to take a bus, then travel about 45 minutes to reach the railway station, then reach Mangalore at 8 a.m. His journey starts 3 a.m. in the morning. He works all the day in the office in Mangalore and returns by 12 o'clock. This was daily routine of Bhai Moideen Kunni in the early days. 3rd generation, 4th generation, reflect yourself how you are enjoying about how your grandfather was living. But beyond this, there was a courage of him unseen by many. He used to supply a lot of timber to a businessman in Kasaragod who never paid him in time. Bhai Moideen Kunni never tolerated injustice. Instead of resenting, he migrated to Mangalore for a better benefits. This shows the courage not to resent when it is not benefit for him. His son Abdullah used to say, he volunteers to get angry. We never have seen people getting angry wantingly. So much was his capacity to dominate the situation. The second principle is what is called equity. When I say equity, many understand private equity, financial equity, etc. Abdullah also said about that, what he did in his life with 100% equity fund. But I am going in a different type of equity in humanity. At the beginning of his career, his nephew was his partner. He used to supply timber from a forest, and Y Moidin used to sell in the market. This was the beginning of their partnership in equity. As the business grew, unfortunately, his nephew met with an accident and died. It was a setback for him. But the business was growing. Y Moidin Kunyi brought all the orphan children, along with his children, to his house in Mangalore and brought them as their own children. The all orphan children were brought up along with his own children, and when the children grew, he separated his partnership by giving them equal share of his nephew. This is something unseen in the city of Mangalore then. Boys made independent, girls were given marriage with their due share to their future, and one of his daughters was also given to marriage to his nephew's son. This is equity in humanity. The third character is unique personality is something is different. It may surprise many of you, and sometimes it may be a little funny, but I want to share this with you. Those of you who have seen the Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte's book you have read, or you have seen the movie, we'll find some comparison of Napoleon with Yenepoya Moidin. Napoleon had his uncurled hair falling on his forehead. So was the same by Moidin. If you would have seen his photographs, you could see his hair was just on his forehead. Napoleon used to sleep sitting erect on a horse. See? I have seen my father-in-law sitting straight on a chair without a support. Napoleon used to dictate letters to 5 secretaries at a time. Yenepoya Moidin used to interact with 5 people with one subject, and each one feeling he is talking to them. So unique. I don't know how many of you had this experience, but I have seen he talks to 5 people together. Each one is they are talking to him, but the subject is one. The next principle which I would like to share is this principle of integrity. Dictionary meaning of integrity is the whole and complete. There is an ontological term, nothing works without integrity. A pen without ink will not write because it is incomplete, has no integrity. In human beings, integrity is understood on honoring on words. Y Moidin was keen in honoring his promises, and moreover to that he was keen in honoring his own thoughts, what he should give to others. Soon after my graduation as a doctor in the year 1969, I was planning to go to USA soon along with my colleagues. ECFMG at that time was an entry exam to USA. It was conducted in Sri Lanka in those days. My father was there and helped many of my colleagues to go there. I also felt that I can join them. In between, there was a discussion between my father and father-in-law about to start a hospital in Mangalore. My father went back to Sri Lanka. He had a viral complication and suddenly died. My father did not let me down. He had supported me at every level to start a hospital. It is another example of his integrity, honoring his words to my father. Timber and plywood were their business. I was keen on architecture, modern development, healthcare, etc. When I could not go to US, unconsciously I wish I could build an American hospital in India. This was the genesis of unity. This became a paradigm shift to the whole family. This gave an impetus to many family members and others to tune into the new reality. Father of modern management, Peter Drucker says, 2 growth sectors of the century are healthcare and education. I must compliment many of my family members, particularly Dr. Abdullah Kunyi, Tumbe Moidin, Dr. Abdul Rahman, Faisal Kotikalam, all of them further developed into an emerging future. The new reality, what Peter Drucker says, the future possibility. Dr. Y. Abdullah Kunyi, with the cooperation of his brother, Muhammad Kunyi, led the second generation to ultimate success as he could see all these developments. Congratulations, Abdullah Kunyi, for your continuing father's legacy. A third and fourth generation should learn how the second generation dynamic uncle did all these things for you to follow up in the future. His charity is exemplary. What his father did, he improved further on the charity. Finally, I am fortunate to be a pioneer in healthcare and education. Above all, it is the open mind, open heart, open will of Y Moidin that has unleashed the potential of the family a great future. Now to conclude, I say the leadership of the future is something emerging which you have not seen, according to Otis Kramer, an American scientist. The leadership from the past, if that is what is called an ecosystem to ecosystem, what is lost is now with ego. Everyone wants to be the best. America wants to be the best. China wants to be the best. Competition going on. I remember my father-in-law saying that, what is the use of having so many things? You can't eat more than 2 meals. And finally, when he leaves, he'll have to leave everything and go. So he says, I can quote why Moideen was an example from ecosystem to ecosystem, which the world is looking for. Seldom we find an individual who has great wealth and thinks the wealth doesn't belong to him. He shared and cared. May God bless the departed soul, and his legacy may be the guiding light for others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Habib Uncle. I now request Mr. B. Abdul Salam to please come on stage and release the Kannada version of the biography. Mr. B. Abdul Salam is the son of late Mr. B. Ahmed Haji Moideen and grandson of YMK. He is the managing director of BA Group and trustee of Moideen Educational Trust. He is also the president of Karnataka State Plywood Association, former president of South India Plywood Manufacturers Association, and panel member of the Islamic Development Bank, Saudi Arabia. And not to forget, as an avid tennis player too, he is the chairman of Ramakrishna Tennis Club. I also call upon Mr. C. M. Mohammed Kuni, partner, Navbharat Timbers, Mumbai, to do the honor of receiving the Kannada version of the book. Mr. C. M. Mohammed Kuni always regarded YMK as his mentor, who held him close to his heart. He was one of the largest timber dealers in Maharashtra and has worked very closely with UPA. I request Salam Kaka to say a few words.
All the dignitaries present here today, family members, friends, well-wishers, and all of you all who are present here today. My elder brother, Dr. Tumbe Moideen, who is based in the UAE, the eldest grandson of late Yenepoya Moideen Kuni, was supposed to have released this book today. But due to certain health issues, he could not be present here with us. So me, the second eldest grandson of late Yenepoya Moideen Kuni, had the privilege of releasing this book. The name Yenepoya has been instrumental in making my life and my career easy and successful. All of us, the children, grandchildren, son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, have benefited from the name Yenepoya and the legacy left behind by late Yenepoya Moideen Kuni. And it will continue to even the future generations. We have to forever be thankful and recognize and acknowledge his contributions to our lives. I pray to Almighty God to grant him the highest place in heaven. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Salam Kaka. I now have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Asif Abdul Qadir to please come up and release the Malayalam version of the biography. The eldest son of late K. Khalid Baba and Mrs. Yenepoya Halima and the grandson of YMK, Mr. Asif Abdul Qadir is the managing partner of Tropical Boards and Plywoods. Being a nature lover and an avid coffee grower, he is the co-owner of Magadi and Sundarban Estates. He is a seasoned investor in the stock market as well, and committed to the welfare of the society at large, He also plays a major role in various non-profit organizations. To receive the book, I invite Mr. A. Ramachandra Shetty, Director, Yenepoya Group, and close confidant of Dr. Yenepoya Abdullah Kuni, who has worked very closely with YMK himself. His association with the Yenepoya family spans a period of over 60 years. Thank you very much. It has been rightly said, you can close your eyes to reality, but not to memories. Memories are the key not to the past, but to the future. Very true indeed. The memories we make with our family is everything. And to us, at the Yenepoya family, as Upa taught us, family is everything.
We have with us today 6 very special guests, all towering dignitaries who need no introduction, who will share with us a few words and thoughts. I'm sure you're all very eager to listen to them. To begin, we're privileged to have amongst us Dr. Shantaram Shetty. Dr. Shantaram Shetty is a renowned orthopedic surgeon and Pro-Chancellor, Nitay University, Mangalore. It is widely known that he is a surgeon with healing hands. I would like to request Dr. Shantaram Shetty to share his thoughts with us.
Good evening. Namaskar. The charismatic children of late Yenepoya Moideen Kuni, headed by Yenepoya Muhammad Kuni and equally charismatic Mr. Abdullah Kuni, and the other children, and the most elegant grandchildren of this great man. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I consider it indeed a privilege and a honor done unto me for having been asked to share few of my thoughts on this great legendary personality. And it is a pleasure because of this monumental occasion when this biography of this great man is being released, both in English, Kannada and Malayalam. And all of us, most of us, have lived with this great man, and we know all his contributions. Mr. Yenepoya Moideen Kuni rode as a colossus from 1907 to 1983. He has left behind his footsteps in the sands of time for people to remember, for people to emulate, and people to salute. And many of us doubted whether such a man, whether treaded the paths of our Mangalore. He was a role model to the young and old. He was a role model to the rich and poor, to the businessmen and to the clergy. And he was a philanthropist. He was a businessman of great repute, and he was a perfect family man. When I saw the book, the great words of DVG flashed my mind to describe him. Hullagu bettadadi manege malligeyagu. Hullagu bettadadi manege malligeyagu. ಕಲ್ಲಾಗು ಕಷ್ಟಗಳ ಮಳೆಯ ಉಜ್ಜಿ ಸುರಿಯೆ, ಬೆಲ್ಲ ಸಕ್ಕರೆಯಾಗು ದೀನ ದಲಿತರಿಗೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೊಳು ಒಂದಾಗು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. There is no better words to describe this man. Indeed, he converted the barren hills wherever he went into greenery, green forest. And as was shown in the beautiful movie, the greatest struggle which he faced it as a rock. And he was a perfect man, as my good friend Dr. Habib was describing, a real perfect man to bring up the family and the grandchildren. It was at 11 o'clock that day I reached home, and that monumental book was on my table. Immediately after dinner, I started reading it, and 239 pages of it, I finished it at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. in the morning. It was motivational, it was inspirational, and even at this age of 80, it made me think, there is so much to achieve, so much to do, so much to give, and so much to take. And that is the lesson this great man has given to the society all around the world. And I congratulate especially Mr. Abdullah Kunni for this inspirational book which has presented to the people of Mangalore, nay to the world. It will always be monumental and inspirational. Mr. Abdullah Kunni, to go into the lighter vein, we used to play tennis for nearly 10 years. And many of us, there were all round, there were Malyas, there were Bastis, and there were Abdul Rahman and Muhammad Kunni, who was also shown in the picture. And whenever Abdullah Kunni was on the opposite side, we used to hit the ball in the forehand and say, "Take it, rich man's son." He will remember that, and with a flash of a background like Rod Laver those days, he used to have the backhand, take it, young man, and he used to give it back. That is the greatness of this great man. And he has really worked hard for the last 7 years to present this monumental book to the people of Mangalore and so on. Mr. Moideen Kunni, late Mr. Yenepoya Moideen Kunni, as was rightly depicted, was a very simple man. And he was born in Yenepoya Mole and in a Bhavikari village, which was a small little village. And he has really shown what grit, with determination, with faith, what a person can do. And he used to travel, as was rightly shown in the movie picture, all the way to Mangalore or even to Sulya right in the morning. And in that book, it is very well mentioned that he used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, and what time he reaches home, nobody knew. Even except his wife, perhaps all the children would be sleeping, and he would come back at 12 o'clock. But sharp at 4 o'clock, he would get up and start his work. Gentlemen, many of us do not know that 4 o'clock is the best time to get up. It is called Brahme Muhurtam. Even in Quran says the first prayer should be done before the sunrise, before 6 o'clock. And that is what he practiced throughout life. And that is what he practiced and made his children practice throughout his life. Working was a worship to him. Working was indeed a worship to him. And he had infinite faith, as was rightly told, infinite faith in himself, faith in the work which he has undertaken, and whatever he did it to perfection as a class. Whether it is timber business or whatever he did, which all his children imbibed. Whatever they do today, even the presentation of the books which was given in that beautiful box is a class by itself. That shows what Mr. Moideen Kunni has given to his children and to the society at large, starting with a simple business of wood. Today, YMK is a brand name. YMK is a brand name, and they have gone from resins to plastics to steel industry to everything which you mentioned a person can do. When I was just going through that book, I thought, if you conglomerate, if you join together all the wealth of this family and what they have given to the society, it is perhaps much more than any other family has given in this country. You calculate it and see how much. It is not just in wealth, but in vanity, in goodwill, and all aspects. And I congratulate each member, each of their children for what they have done to our society at large. Finally, as my good friend Habib was my classmate, when I was going through the book, every member of every child of Mr. Moideen Kuni somehow, apart from I have treated him sometimes, and even the presentation of a suit piece which he gave me nearly about 40 years ago, still adorned as a monument in my cupboard. And that was Mr. Moideen Kuni. Coming to the family at large, I would like to quote this small verse. काम से बड़ी ताकत नहीं, काम से बड़ी ताकत नहीं, लोगों से प्यार से बड़ी शौहरत नहीं, परिवार से बड़ी दौलत नहीं, परिवार से बड़ी दौलत नहीं. That is the Parivar family which Mr. Moideen Kuni really developed. All the credit goes to Madam Zuleika, who brought up her children with discipline, who brought up her children with love, who brought up her children with love and compassion. And not only in the books it is very well mentioned that the youngest daughter writes there, though I did not like, I was made to get up at 4 o'clock and pray and start reading my books. That is how she developed each of the children. That is the greatness of this great madam. Behind every successful person, there is always a great lady, and that was Madam Zuleika. Coming to the grandchildren, it is the ocean of divinity. Each one has imbibed the great character of the grandfather and the uncles and made proud. And each of the grandchildren sitting there have made proud of this great man. I congratulate this great family. I always thought reading that book, perhaps if Mr. Moideen Kuni had gone to Kannur or gone to Calicut instead of Mangalore, we would have lost the greatness of this great family to Mangalore. So we Mangaloreans are very proud of you, Mr. Abdul Kuni and Mr. Mohammed Kuni and all of you, for that divinity, for sending Mr. Moideen Kuni to Mangalore to start his business nearly about in the year 1959. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a privilege. May the God always give you whatever you ask for. May the road rise and meet you to your family. May the road rise and meet you wherever you go. May the sun God give you always warmth. May the rain God give you the showers which is needed. And may the good God keep this great family in the small of his hand and bless all of you to continue your good work of late Yenepoya Moideen Kuni and the children and the grandchildren, and let it be a legacy. Praying our pranams on behalf of the citizens of Mangalore to this, may his soul rest in peace, and let us remember his legacy as a legacy for the Mangaloreans to follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor, for those loving and touching words of our Upa. I now request Mr. Abdul Nasir to present a memento as a token of appreciation to Dr. Shantaram Shetty. Next up, we have Mr. G.N. Bulganavar, another eminent personality who is willing to share his experiences with us. Mr. G.N. Bulganavar, IFS, retired Chief Conservator of Forests, Government of Karnataka, has shared a very special bond with YMK over the years. Sir, we request you to join us on stage to share your views.
Pranams to all of you. I wouldn't have come here because of my old age ailments, but because of my deep love and affection towards legendary man, Mr. Yenepoya Kuni, and his children, Dr. Abdullah Kuni, Muhammad Kuni, and his son-in-law, Ahmad Haji, and his son, Moidu Tumbe, etc. My contact with Yenepoya was way back in 1969. Just imagine, it was 52 years ago. Some of you here might not have born in 1969, I was DFO, Kundapur. Kundapur was a very forest, big division. In those days, about 30, 40 forest coups were being sold, auctioned. The auctions were, the day of auctions were declared, date was fixed, wide publicity was given, and in the DFO's office, adjoining to my DFO's chamber, there was a big auction hall like this. I was sitting in the chair on one side with my table. Opposite side, there were chairs for the contractors and bidders. I came on that auction day much earlier to the auction hall. And at the same time, one gentleman came accompanied by a boy. He was with Obama haircut, with a grace and dignity on his face. Then I inquired, there was nobody except that gentleman and boy. I asked my staff, who is that gentleman? Then my office superintendent told me, sir, avru Neria forest 5,000 acres ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಾಡಿದೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಅದರದ್ದು ಆ ಕಾಡು ಓನರ್ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. So I was wondering, why has he come with such a big forest for this auction? Then I thought he must have come for price comparison. Then I kept quiet. At 10:30, auction sale started. Some people bought one coop, some contractors bought 2 coops. At the end, after 3 or 4 hours, auction sale was closed. And Mr. Yenepoya was also bought 2 coops. I was wondering why he bought those 2 coops when he is having such a big forest. Then, after the end, Mr. Yenepoya, he came to my table and a big roll of currencies from his waistband, he took out the money and kept on my table. In those days, one of the terms and conditions was of the sale was the successful bidder, he has to remit 1/4 of the bid amount either in cash or in demand draft on the spot, on the day, on the same day. So Mr. Yenepoya, he kept all the money on my table. Then my office superintendent told me, "Sir, Mr. Yenepoya is only first or second primary. He is not having much education. He doesn't know how to count and all." So he left it to my staff and me to count the currencies. Then he remitted 1/4 amount. I asked him, "ಏನು ಏನಪ್ಪ ನೀವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಕೂಪು ಅಂತ." ಅವರು ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಕ್ಕು ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗಿಬಿಟ್ರು. Next day he came to my office to execute this sale agreement. Then we had a very deep discussion. He told me his entire history about how he came up, how he bought the forest and all. Very interesting, very hard-working man. And he told me, I will get it. He had to clear the entire forest in the coop and hand it over to the forest department, back to the forest department after 12 months, according to the condition. So he followed it. He was supplying timber. All big trees were converted into the big logs, and small trees were converted into the poles, and all residual material was converted into the firewood. So all timber was transported to his big timber yard here in Mangalore. In the timber yard itself, he had a very sophisticated sawmill. It was consuming, that sawmill was consuming very large-scale timber, and he was supplying that all sawn timber in the form of scantlings and planks were being supplied to Bombay. Bombay was the big market with large extensions were coming up. So any amount of supply of timber to Bombay was not sufficient. And went on supplying every year. He thought he may not sustain this big chunk of forest. So he went on thinking something else. See, instead of supplying solid timber, he thought of converting this solid timber into plywoods. So out of one log, he started producing several sheets of veneers. and in one log several flush doors, blockboards, and doors and windows were converted, and he started supplying it to the Nepal and exporting it to the Middle East, Arabian countries. And also he was supplying rosewood, exporting it to the Japan. And he thought he is not going to sustain this plywood also. Plywood was in great demand. He produced all quality material. So he became very popular, and by seeing that other people also started producing plywood, and he thought he is not able to cope up with this competition. In the meanwhile, surprisingly, his end came, and he had a vision. His vision was carried by his children, and they implemented in full, successfully. And though he expired, his children, they were not deterred. They went on supplying this plywood, and then they thought something else also they must start doing it. So they went on in search of their own raw material, like this granite stones. They found the granite stone in their own forest. They installed highly sophisticated sawmill to the extent of 8 to 10 meters diameter circular sawmill. They were producing granite sheets of 1/4 of an inch, half an inch, 1 inch, like that, for floors, paneling of walls, kitchen tops, table tops, and whatnot. So they became very popular, and they were supplying it to the Japan, Middle East, and other countries. So wherever they laid their hands, they did very good jobs, and at the same time they were benefited. Whatever Mr. Yenepoya sowed the seeds, they started harvesting, and Dr. Abdullah Kuni, though he started supplying stones, he is very genius. He thought, he saw water flowing in his forest area. He arrested that water and constructed a small dam there and started producing electricity to the extent of 10 megawatts. It is a great achievement and great economy to the states, great contribution to the state. And now they started, before this constructing of processing of electricity, they thought better to invest, diversify their activities. So they diversified their activities into the education and healthcare. in education, engineering, medical, nursing, so many branches, so many institutions. It went to such an extent, it became deemed university, and Dr. Abdullah Kudi himself became the chancellor of that university, and his children were now managing all education, healthcare, and they are very genius. Whatever Mr. Yenepoya Kuni invested, it is now they are harvesting and multiplying their activities. God bless them the best, and I wish them all success in their endeavors. Thank you very much. I wish the organizers having called me to speak few words here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request Mr. B. Abdul Sajid to hand over a memento to Mr. Bulganavar. Next, we are fortunate to have Mr. U.T. Alva join us today. Mr. U.T. Alva, IFS, Additional Principal, Chief Conservator of Forests and Chief Wildlife Warden, Government of Karnataka, has shared a very special bond with YMK and the entire family over the years. Sir, can we please have you on the dais?
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been asked to talk for 5 minutes only. My colleague has almost taken over my time also, so I would like to cut it short. Friends, my memory of meeting Mr. Y. Moideen Kunyi goes back to my school days. Because I was also born and brought up at Kasaragod, and I had my schooling at Kasaragod. My father was practicing at Kasaragod as a doctor. So whenever we had an opportunity, my father was almost a good friend of Mr. Moideen Kunyi, and whenever there was a chance of meeting him, mostly at the railway station, where the wagons were being loaded, my father used to point it out to me, say, that is a man who really works, who determined to achieve what he wants to. That's all. But then I had no direct contact with him then. My first contact was, again, when I joined the department, 1959, when I got selected for training. He came to meet me at Mangalore. Then my father had shifted to Mangalore. He came to meet me at Mangalore, but I was not available. So he told whatever he could say to my father, he told him, and that was conveyed to me. All good things only, nothing bad. But my personal contact with him was when I was Deputy Conservator of Forest at Markara, Coorg district. That was in 1970. See, as my colleague had said, we have that coup fails and all that. and Mr. Abdul Kunji, my friend who was B. Abdul Kunji. He was mainly working in Coorg on behalf of these companies. So he said, sir, my uncle is coming. I will try to bring him to you. I said, bring along. He came to the office, a simple person, down to earth, with a neat white dress and a headscarf on the top. And I made him to sit. And he just mentioned that I'm so-and-so, so-and-so, and a friend of your father too. So I just mentioned, and the agreement was executed. Then while leaving, his only one sentence was, sir, you are in a very good position, but be careful. A lot of people will try to spoil you, but at the same time, be keen to execute whatever you want to do in the right spirit. That is the day when I was impressed of the lot of things said about him by the people then, but I personally try to understand him, and I confirmed, as it was said by so many people today, especially by Dr. Shantaram Shetty, a person of determination, conviction, and achievement. And he has inculcated his habits to his children and more than that, to his grandchildren too. I congratulate the whole family and really appreciate the principles he has given down the line. I once again thank you all for tolerating us, and thank you, Mr. Abdul Kunji, Muhammad Kunji, and others for having given us an opportunity to say what we felt about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Farhadi Yenepoya to present a memento to Mr. U.T. Alva. Next, we have with us a versatile personality, Professor B.A. Vivek Rai. Professor B.A. Vivek Rai is an eminent educationist, folklorist, and renowned Kannada professor. He is well-read, a reputed author with several prominent publications to his credit, and a truly eloquent orator. He has been the Vice-Chancellor of Hampi Kannada University and Karnataka State Open University, Mysore. We are eager to hear what Professor B.A. Vivek Rai has to say about his memories and experiences with the publication of YMK.
Thank you. Yenepoya Moideen Kunji ಅವರ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ ಮತ್ತು ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳೇ, 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾನು ತಗೊಳ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಬ್ದುಲ್ ಕುಂಜಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತು 3 ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಆಗಿವೆ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮಲಯಾಳಂನಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗ ಕಾಣುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ, ಅದರ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಇದ್ದ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ನೋಡಿದರೆ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಬಯೋಗ್ರಫಿ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಟ್ರಟೈಸ್, can you call it as a book for vision? Can you call it a networking of the human beings? ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕರಿಬೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಸುಮಾರು 4 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಬ್ದುಲ್ ಕುಂಜಿ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದೆ. ನೀವು ಇವತ್ತು ಕಾಣುವಂತಹ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದರ ಹಿಂದುಗಡೆ ಇರುವ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಅದ್ಭುತ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕೇರಳದ ಕಾಸರಗೋಡಿನ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಮೂಲೆಯಿಂದ ನಡೆದ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಯಾವ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆ, ಅದ ಕಾರಣವೇ ಐ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಅದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಂಶೋಧನೆ ಆಗಿವೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಬಹುಶಃ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗೆ, ನಾನು ಮಲಯಾಳಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಿನ 8 ರಿಂದ 10 ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ಗಳಾಗಿವೆ. 8-10 ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿವೆ. ನಾನು ಬಹುಶಃ ಇದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಬ್ದುಲ್ ಕುಂಜಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಾನು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸದಸ್ಯನಾಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಆಗಿ, MD ಆಗಿ, ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಆದರೆ ಕಳೆದ 4 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನಿಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಕೋರ್. ಮತ್ತು ಇಡೀ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯನ್ನು, ಯಾಕೆ ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ನನಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರದ್ದೂ ಮುಖ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಯೆನೆಪೊಯ ಮೊಯ್ದೀನ್ ಕುಂಜಿಯವರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಸೊಸೆಯಂದಿರು, ಅಳಿಯಂದಿರು, ಮೊಮ್ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಮರಿಮಕ್ಕಳು ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹೆಸರು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಈಗ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾನು ಅವರ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಭಾಗ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅಫೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಲೆಗಾರಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಇದು ಯೆನೆಪೊಯ ಮೊಯ್ದೀನ್ ಕುಂಜಿಯವರು ನಮಗೆ ಕಲಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು. ತನಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವ ಕನಸು ಕಂಡವರು ಮತ್ತು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಮತ್ತು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದವರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಅವರ ಆರಂಭದ ಭಾಗ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಅದು ಸಾಹಸದ ಯಾನ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರೆದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎನ್ ಐಕನ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಐಕನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಿನ್ಸಿಯಾರಿಟಿ, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಐಕನ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೇತ್ಫುಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದರಲ್ಲ, ಇಡೀ ನೀವು ಆ ಕಥೆ ನೋಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ರೋಮಾಂಚಕ ಕಥೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎರಡನೇ ಭಾಗ ಅವರ ಗಂಡು ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಅಳಿಯಂದಿರು, ಸೊಸೆಯಂದಿರು ಮತ್ತು ಮೊಮ್ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೇಳಿದ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಮೆಮರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೆ. ಮೆಮರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಮೆಮರಿ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಅನ್ನೋದರ ಮೂಲಕನೇ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಎ ಡಿಸ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಡೀ ಸಂಕಥನವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟುವಾಗ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕೂಡ ಈಗ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಹಿರಿಯ IFS ಆಫೀಸರ್ಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಕೆಲಸದವರು ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ ಕಥೆಗಳು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರುವ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆದ ಕಥೆಗಳು, ಹಾಕಿದ ಆನೆಯನ್ನು ಸಾಕಿದಾಗ ನಡೆದ ಕಥೆಗಳು, ಈ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದೊಂದು ರೋಮಾಂಚನ ಕಥೆಗಳು. ಮನುಷ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಹೀಗೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಯೆನೆಪೊಯ ಮೊಯ್ದೀನ್ ಕುಂಜಿಯವರನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಥರದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಿ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಕಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಟು ಆದಾಗ ಮೊಮ್ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಂತೆ, ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಟೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಒಬ್ಬ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಒತ್ತಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಂತೆ. ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನನಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ನನಗೆ ಬಾಯಿಪಾಟಾಗಿದೆ ಇಡೀ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ನನಗೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅದರ ನಡುವೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಬ್ದುಲ್ ಕುಂಜಿಯವ್ರನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಮರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ, ಅವರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ನನಗೆ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಬಾರಿ ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಅವರು ಬಂದು 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಇದ್ದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅನೇಕ ಬಾರಿ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಒಂದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಂಡದ್ದು, ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಗುರುತು ಹಾಕಿ ಇದು ಇದರಿಂದ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನನಗೆ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಯಿತು. ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಕೊನೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಬಾರಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಸಮಾಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದು ಇರಲಿ. ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೀರ್ಘ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದರು ಅವರ ಸಹಾಯಕರು, ಹೇಳಿದರು ಇದು ಬೇಡ ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರಿ ತೆಗಿಯೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆವು. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಇಡೀ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನನಗೇನು ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದರ ಹಿಂದುಗಡೆ ಅವರಿಗಿರುವ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿ ಬಾರಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದವರು ಅಜ್ಮಾನ್ನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದುಬೈಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರ ಸಾಹಸಗಳು 3ನೇ ತಲೆಮಾರದು ಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ. 3ನೇ ತಲೆಮಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲಾಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ 7 ವರ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅನೇಕ ಮಂದಿ ಅವರ ಕುಟುಂಬದವರನ್ನು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನಾನು ಅವರು ಫೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಅಳಿಯಂದಿರು ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲೀಗ ಬಂತಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅವೆಲ್ಲವುಗಳಾದಾಗಲೂ ಕುಗ್ಗದೆ ಆತ್ಮವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ ಕಾರಣ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆ ಏನಂದರೆ ಯೆನೆಪೊಯ ಮೊಯ್ದೀನ್ ಕುಂಜಿ. ಅಂತಹ ಒಂದು ದಿವ್ಯ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಪ್ರಭಾವದಿಂದ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಈಗ ನಾಡ್ದು ಸೋಮವಾರ ದಿನ 2 ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆಯ ಆಮಂತ್ರಣ ಬಂತು, ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಮೆಟಿಕ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ದೈವಭಕ್ತಿಯ ಜೊತೆಗೇನೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್, ನಾಟ್ ಬೈ ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ನಾಟ್ ಬೈ ಗ್ಲಾಸಸ್, ನಾಟ್ ಬೈ ಮನಿ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಈ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನು ಯುವ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯವರು ಓದಬೇಕು. ನೀವೊಂದು ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಗ್ರಂಥವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಪಠನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನನ್ನ ವಿನಂತಿ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ರೀಡ್ ಎ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಬುಕ್, ರೀಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಲೈನ್ ಬೈ ಲೈನ್, ವರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ವರ್ಡ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ಮತ್ತು ಆ ರೀತಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬದುಕನ್ನು ಸಾಗಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. C.P. Abdul Yasir to hand over a token of gratitude to Professor Vivek Rai. I now call upon Mr. U.T. Khadar to say a few words. Mr. U.T. Khadar, MLA, Mangalore Constituency and Deputy Leader, Congress, Karnataka Legislative Assembly, is also a very close family friend. His father, late Mr. U.T. Fareed, also an MLA, was a close friend of YMK. Sir, we would like to request you to share a few words with us.
Distinguished guests on the dais, all the eminent personality of the dais. It is my pleasure to be in this function, and I congratulate Y. Mohammad Kunyi and Y. Abdullah Kunyi and all their family members for organizing such a wonderful historical event. And I'm sure that these books which are released will inspire many in the future days to come in this society. I always say that transforming the culture and ethics and value of family is always done by grandmothers and grandfathers. So in olden days when we were all small, every house there used to have grandfathers and grandmothers whom these children used to have a time pass with. The mothers and fathers will be busy. So children always will be with grandmothers and grandfathers, and they will be telling the story of the family story, the values, ethics, everything of the society. And nowadays you see no grandmothers and grandfathers that are very rare in any family to be there. So I think this book, this type of book comes from everywhere, in every this one, will give a big strength and inspire and courage for the younger generation in the society. So I think this will be a big boon to the younger generation in the days to come, where the transforming of the ethics and values of the families down to the down level of the children in the days to come. So having this opportunity regarding the talk on legendary Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi, I am very small to say. I was a student with their grandchildren in their college days to come. And always my dad was a friend, a close friend of Yenepoya Abdullah Kunyi and Mohammad Kunyi also. They say a foresighted visionary, but I would like to say is a far-sighted visionary with the humanity. He might have been a businessman and an industrialist, but more than that, he has seen humanity in each and every whatever adventure or whatever business he has taken, and that has taken them to such a big height. And all these values and ethics and all this way of coming up will take and give a big strength to entire family and the society. And as an industrialist, it not only helped this family or their own close circle. The vision of industrialists from there, from the healthcare, education care, on every field of society, now it has helped 1,000 or lakhs of people in the society where to run their family, which has indirectly helped this nation in building this nation and this society also. So I am sure that all will take forward the legendary work and the values and ethics of Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi, and they have proved it also. I need not say about Y. Abdullah Kunyi or Y. Mohammad Kunyi because they are very senior to me. I had to learn a lot of them. But along with my classmates they were there, I think I can say all their grandchildren were classmates. Like Azmal was there, Sajid was there, Javed was there, and Ashir, Farad and Zon, they were juniors to us, we were together. But now, they have excelled in their own field. There also they got a lot of humanity is there. And I could say not only this in Tumbe Moideen Kunyi in Dubai, he has done international fame, and we are when we go there, very proud to say that he is from Mangalore. There doesn't caste, creed, culture doesn't come anything. Only we say he is from Mangalore. It is entire proud of Mangalorean or Karnataka people. When the Indians also proud because only one outside a private medical college is there. When I went to Shabnaz and Faisal's house, I was very happy to see that. Entire seeing the house, last they took me to one shed, which is beautiful decorated. Inside that when we saw, it was a chariot of Rajendra Odeyer, which they have taken auction and they made beautifully, they had kept still maintaining it. So it was proud for every Mangalorean or our community to see that the king of the chariot of the king of Mysore, they had taken it. It was this which was dismantled. They repaired it, set it right, and they kept it for view for everyone over there. I told Faisal, why you are keeping here? Keep it in Mysore Palace. I think everyone can see, and others, your effort to get back also will be there. I hope in the days to come, it's okay. It will be done. And regarding the Rizwan and everywhere, whatever in my social work, they have helped me a lot. Each and everyone has helped me a lot. Because I just want to tell, 2-3 days back, my police escort driver, he wanted some job. I told Rizwan, he said, you Kadar Naik. When he said he couldn't get there because their qualification is not there. But he not leave. His friend he told, and he gave a job there, that the driver is coming and touching my feet. See, because one help to a society, it concerns so much to the people. As far as Farad, I don't know how to say. Each and every day my phone, one call is there, 1 or 2, 3 call is there for Farad. Either Kada, one seat, father, or seat, one korting nallondai, father bandani. Then ucha fees korchagaro king nallondai. Then after some time, Kada work a bit to bonula, work for a certificate back korting. All this, and every time he is very smile. I Kada, we will smile and we will do it. Today I was coming. I got a phone call from a sister, one girl. And I said, why the seat is not done? She was very confidently talking, saying that you come for the marriage, my cousin's marriage there, you should come and all. And I want to say, 1 month back, same girl and her mother used to phone and cry. My daughter has got good marks, we don't have anyone, we don't have money, please one seat you do somewhere. Then I called Farad and told, this is the case. Farad called them to their office. Then they gave, I think, physiotherapy or one of the allied B form something. That one seat, the way of so she's talking, the confidence of that girl has completely changed. Not only confidence, the confidence of the family is changed because of that one education of that girl, and that is the contribution of the Yenepoya family to the society on the down level. We can say that is a practical thing what has given to the society by the Yenepoya family. So it is my pleasure to be here with you all, seeking your all blessings and all support in days to come also. So the legendary vision of Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi, let it be inspired each and every one in the society. We are not only, we want youngsters to know the history and the values of Yenepoya Moideen Kunyi. We want every youngsters to be the Yenepoya in the days to come, will flourish in the life and will be helpful to each other. So thank you each and everyone. Thank you Yenepoya, Abdullah Kunyi and Muhammad Kunyi and all their family members for this opportunity. Thank you one and all. Namaskara.
Thank you, sir. I request Mr. C.P. Moideen Ashfaq to present a token of appreciation to Mr. U.T. Khadr. And lastly, I call upon Mr. Faisal Kotikolan. Mr. Faisal Kotikolan, a well-loved and acclaimed son-in-law of the Yenepoya family, is married to Mrs. Mariam Shabana, granddaughter of YMK. A prominent industrialist and chairman of KEF Holdings, Maitra Hospital and Tula Wellness Resort. He is widely respected for his business acumen and passion for giving back to the community. Faisal Kaka, can we please have you on stage to share your narrative?
Good evening, respected family members, friends. I'm not from Mangalore, I'm married to Mangalore. So I can give my perspective of this family. I'm very fortunate. And since last night and today, I've been in tears, reading the book, seeing the movie. And I used to be when I was growing up, my idol was J.R.D. Tata. And I can proudly say, after reading the book and the movie, today YMK is my favorite human being, who has inspired me so much, with the story. The reason being, J.R.D. Tata, as an educated man, came from France to India. But this gentleman, uneducated, come from a small village from Kasaragod to Mangalore. And what he's built and how he contributed to the society is not a small story. It is a story of few people who unselfishly was given back to the society with a lot of integrity. And I can say when I got married to my wife Shabana, I could see all the traits which all of you spoke. And Dr. Habib said, marriages are made in heaven. Somebody says, it's not made in earth, but I'm very lucky. You know, it's both for me. It's heaven and earth. So my wife has been a big inspiration for me, and it comes from the family. And it's all about the culture. You know, everything what we learn, the values, integrity, all come from the family. The families are very, very important. And that's what I wanted to address this to the young next generation. Don't leave the family values. People say, you know, we are in a time, now everything is been copied from the West. You know, we are in the Western influence in the last 20, 30 years. And I think we should go back and teach them what the values are, what the culture is. You know, how happiness can be generated, not through money. You know, money can come, money can go. But when you as a family together, we don't need too much of money. You know, we can spread happiness within the members of the family and the society. For me, when I got married, I'm so happy. I went to my father and I told, I had a younger brother who was not married at that time. We should get a girl from Yenepoya family. And that is, my brother is married to Yenepoya, Muhammad Kunyi's daughter, and we are two in the family. And that says it all. With this, I wanted to thank Muhammad Kunyi uncle and Abdullah Kunyi uncle, you know, who's been carrying the torch from the legendary father to the next generation. And all the next generations too are following the same path. So I'm very, very blessed to stand here and address the family and the friends of YMK. And it's been a real, real pleasure for me to do this honor. Thank you all very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal Kaka. I request Mr. Khurshid Yenepoya to present a memento to Mr. K. Faisal. That was indeed a very heartwarming experience. Our Upa, as we all know, was a humble and down-to-earth man who cared for and looked after his employees as his own family. As a tribute to his memory, we have with us today a few long-standing employees who have been with the Yenepoya family right from those days when Upa was with us.
I first call upon our humble, loving uncle, Mr. Yenepoya Muhammad Kunyi, chairman of Yenepoya Group and eldest son of Upa. Mr. Yenepoya Muhammad Kunyi is a perfectionist with a simple, patient, and caring personality. To present a token of appreciation to Mr. P. Sanjeeva. Mr. P. Sanjeeva. Mr. Ronald Ivan Sones. Mr. T.K. Rajan. Mr. N. Mohammed Koya. Mr. D. Praveen Anand. Mr. Vishwanath. Mr. Austin Jaikumar Karath. Mr. P. Karunananda Rao. Mr. Narayana Gowda. Mr. Vijay Kumar A. We now request Mr. P.K. Hashim, married to Mrs. Yenepoya Khatija, to please come to the dais. Mr. P.K. Hashim is a successful industrialist, son of the legendary A.K. Kadir Kuti. Mr. P.K. Hashim will present the token of appreciation to Mr. Purushottam U. We request Mr. Y. Abdullah Kuni to please come to the dais. Mr. Purushottam U. Mr. Harold Menezes. Mr. Janardhan. Mr. Jaya Pujari. Mr. Ganesh B. Mr. Raghav K. Mr. Morris D'Souza. Mr. Philip D'Souza. Mr. Ravindra Yu.
Thank you, Alapa. And lastly, I call upon Dr. C.P. Abdul Rahman, Chairman of Highland Hospital and the youngest son-in-law of YMK, married to Mrs. Yenepoya Rezia, to present a token of gratitude to the people who were instrumental in producing the biography of YMK. first to Mr. A.B. Kutiyanam. Professor B. A. Vivek Rai. Mr. Praveen K. Nayak. Mr. K. Radhakrishna. Mr. Mohammed Iqbal Walapil. Mr. Naufal K. Thank you, Rahman Uncle. As the age-old Vietnamese proverb says, when eating the fruit, remember the one who planted the tree. As we proudly remember Upa today, we also humbly remember all who have been with us on our journey. We also are in gratitude to each and every one of you who are with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasant duty of calling upon Dr. Yenepoya Zuleika Nizit to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very good evening to all of you. Today, I've been given the difficult task of delivering the vote of thanks to mark the end of this special event. Difficult because it simply isn't possible to express our gratitude to everyone present here with a mere thank you. But still, on behalf of the entire Yenepoya family, I thank you for coming here today and making this a truly memorable event. A special note of gratitude to our eminent dignitaries, Dr. Shantaram Shetty, Mr. U.T. Kadir, Mr. U.T. Alva, Professor B.A. Vivek Rai, Mr. G.N. Bulgavanar, and Mr. Faisal Kotukolan for gracing this occasion with your presence and sharing your wonderful memories of our Upa. I know you've all had to keep aside important engagements and travel long distances to be with us here today, and it truly means the world to us. I also want to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. C.P. Habib Rahman, Mr. Asif Abdul Kader, Mr. Abdul Salam Tumbe for doing the honors of the book release, as well as the first recipients of the biography, Mr. Arshish Wadia, Mr. C.M. Mohammad Kunni, and Mr. Ramachandra Shetty. I'm especially thankful to my father, Dr. Yenepoya Abdullah Kunni, for sharing his memories of our beloved Upa. So many years have passed, but you still make sure we get to know our Upa a little more with each passing day. And a big shout out to our MCs here today, Hiba and Saad. You've been an absolute delight to listen to. A special mention to our host today, Taj Vivanta. Your hospitality and warmth are deeply appreciated. Thank you to all the Yenepoya staff who volunteered today and Yenepoya security for your meticulous work. Lastly, I would like to thank all those who worked behind the scenes tirelessly over the last few weeks to make this event truly memorable. Here, I would like to make a special mention of my brothers, B.M. Ashraf, Moideen Naufal, Abdullah Javed, Moideen Khurshid, and Farhad. Also, a big thank you to Mishi And not to forget Mr. Praveen Nayak and Mr. Iqbal, thank you for all your efforts. I feel truly blessed to be a part of this family. And when I say family, I don't just mean family by blood, but by heart. Thank you once again, and I wish you all a safe journey back home.
I request Dr. Yenepoya Abdullah Kuni to hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. K. Radha Krishna for his efforts on helping us publish the book on YMK.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all profusely from the depths of our hearts for taking time off your busy schedules. Many of you traveling down from far-off places to be with us this evening, and especially for making this day so very memorable. I'm sure it is our immense love and admiration for our dear Upa that has drawn us all together here today. We pray that the Almighty blesses our Upa and Uma with paradise. And we also hope that the Almighty continues to bless our family with good health. Thank you, one and all.
High tea will now be served with more sweet memories as you meet up and mingle with old and new acquaintances alike. Enjoy the rest of the evening, everybody. Thank you once again.